Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking in the Human Design Weather about the gate 63, which is the gate of doubt and suspicion. Okay, so we got the sun in gate 63. It started today, Friday, March 1st, and it goes until just into March 7th, barely. We've got the earth in gate 64, which is called confusion, and they're both up here. They're both the head gates. So the gate 63 is up here on the right side, which is the logical side or in the channel of logic. And then we've got the gate 63, which is on the other side. And so we literally have the right and left brain. The 64 is all about, whether we call it confusion, but it's part of the abstract channel, which is all about imagination and creativity and all the left brain type thinking. We've got the entire chart open this week. We've got no channels that get defined by the transits. And so whatever you have that hooks up with any of these would make some definition in your chart, but in the overall chart, there's nothing defined. And Uranus is the only planet that is currently retrograde. So with the sun in gate 63, it's called suspicion or doubt. It's called after completion or doubt in the original I Ching. And so the doubt comes from the doubt is supposed to be outside and the suspicion is supposed to be outside of us. But a lot of times what we do is we turn it inside and we self-doubt, right? And that's where we get into trouble, basically, because we doubt ourselves and we think that we can't get something done. But really, this gate is about doubting things on the outside of you. It's really the beginning of the logical process or the hypothetical process. We doubt something and then we try to prove it right or wrong. And that's the scientific process. So the doubt and suspicion are kind of on both ends of the spectrum when it comes to the shadow side of this gate, and so we'll see that in the gene keys. And so they say in the spiral of life, all endings are beginnings, because with the gates 63 and 64, we're literally at the end of the I Ching mandala. This entire circle goes from 1 to 64. And so with the gates 63 and 64, we're at the end, right? As we'll see on the next page, there is a spiral to it. There is this sense of eternal or eternity that goes with all of the gates, that they just keep going on and on. I mean, they're in a circle or they can be in the infinity sign, whichever way you want to look at it, but they continue. We go cycle after cycle around the sun, right? Or around any planet, actually. Or I should say any planet goes around them. In the incarnation crosses this week, we got the crosses of consciousness, doubts, and dominion, because these are all up in the head space. And in quantum human design, it's called curiosity. Then with the gate 64, which is called confusion or before completion in the original I Ching, this is transition like birth requires a determined strength for the passage through. This would be the imaginative or creative side of the brain. And so think of it as a transition, right? It's information coming into the head space, and then it transitions and it goes from being this kind of big blob or download of information into something that's very imaginative and creative and allows you to do new projects and come up with new ideas and perhaps come up with ideas that you've never had before. In the gene keys, confusion is the shadow, imagination is the gift, and illumination is the CD. In quantum human design, we call it divine transference. So here's that eternity sign I was talking about on the chart here, that we think of it as the symbol of eternity, right? That it just keeps going on and on. The mandala, the I Ching, just keep going on and on. So the 1 and 2 at the very beginning versus the 63 and 64 at the very end, there's really no difference, right? It's not really about completions. It's really about being able to move in this archetypical way around the sun or the mandala or whatever you want to call it, that how we go through life is in this following the archetypes around the sun in a way, because we keep getting hit with these energies each year at the same time. And so at this time of the year, we get hit with the gene key 63. And here he says, truth is simply here now in every moment at every stage of your life. And so if we think of the past or we think of the future, that's not necessarily the truth. The truth is simply here now, is what he's saying. And we get to see it from our perspective in any moment and at every stage of our life. In the gene key 63, the shadow is doubt. Here we've got the repressive side being self-doubt and the reactive side being suspicion. And we've talked about the repressive and the reactive before, right? The repressive side is the fearful side. So that would be the self-doubt, which usually is an obstacle for people. It keeps us from moving forward. It keeps us from thinking that what we're about to do is good enough. And the reactive side is suspicion. And so the self-doubt is internal. The reactive side, which is more about anger or repressed anger, is going to be suspicious of people around you. That kind of plays out when people are suspicious, then people act funny because they're being suspected, and then it's kind of an ongoing loop, right, of suspicious activity. So the gift is inquiry, basically looking for the truth, looking for the answers, looking to dispel the doubts. And the funny thing is that, and I hate to admit this because I think Richard's right, but we are always in a state of uncertainty. And the state of uncertainty is one that allows us to keep questioning and questioning and questioning and never really getting to an answer. And I kind of hate his logic because it's not very reassuring, right? I mean, we go to teachers and gurus and therapists and all kinds of people, right, to find answers. People come to me to find answers. And yet the answer is there is no answer. There is no truth except in the moment, right? And we get to keep being in the inquiry. We're always in the inquiry, but there's really never an answer. And so he says the human logical mind is simply not designed to be certain of anything other than paradox. So nothing's for sure, except that nothing's for sure. And it's kind of frustrating for me. Because I have a defined Ajna, I like certainty. And I have the 63, and I like to be sure of things and certain of things. And it's frustrating. I'll just say that. So he also says the higher your stage of awareness, however, the more possessed you become by this question mark inside you, right? So we keep being aware, more and more aware of what's going on, right? And we are searching and we're looking and we're talking to people and we're learning new things. And we have this increased level of awareness, increased evolution. That's great. But we become more possessed, as he says, by this question mark that we have that doesn't go away. He also says at the shadow frequency, there's nothing but truth. And at the gift frequency, there's nothing but truth. So truth is every step of the way. And so even at the shadow frequency, you can still be in the now and have the truth, which is good to know. And as your frequency increases, your understanding of these will increase. But as I said, it just leads to more questions and more uncertainty. And so, sorry, I don't have a better message this week, but this gate is all about uncertainty. Of course, we've got a number of personalities born in the Sun Gate 63, and people like John Bon Jovi, Andy Gibb, Eve Mendes, Bernard Arnault, who I believe is the CEO of LVMH in France. They live, these are people who were always questioning, right? Always looking to find more answers. Many really bright people. Rachel Weisz, who's an actress, is supposed to be like brilliant. Mikhail Gorbachev, John Irving, the writer, Shaquille O'Neal. These are people who had a lot of them had, I just noticed, more than one career. And so they can move, pretty easily, right, in that uncertainty, but moving to enhance their careers and to become more and more famous. So it's an interesting thing to see, but it is that having both. They may not have the entire channel, but it's some logic and some imagination, right? And bringing the two together so that, for example, they could be an artist or a writer or a singer and still be good at the business side, right? Still have that logical mind that would allow them to show up in the right place at the right time for all their gigs, that kind of thing. So those are the kinds of minds that we have this week. So hope you have a great week. I hope you get to see some of the logical side as well as the imaginative side, the creative side, and meld those two together in a way that works for you. So have a great week, and I will see you soon. Take care.